In this first video, we'll walk you through each phase of building your app. Follow along and pause as much as you need to. If you have any questions, please contact me. The first step is to create a data dictionary. You can reuse the workbook for future apps. These are just 4 of the many ways this informational document helps you as the developer. Open your administrative unit assessment report template and refer to it for this phase. Although the form has 2 tables, we will ultimately rebuild them as 1. For the data dictionary, we'll use a spreadsheet to list all the fields that will be used in our app. Create an Excel workbook named Data Dictionary. Across the top of your spreadsheet, row 1, name each column with these names. Next are the fields. In column A, row 2, enter yes because the last name field will be your primary key. All other rows in column A leave blank. In column B, row 2, enter last name, row 3, first name, and so on. Enter all the fields from your report template. Pause the video and add all of the field names you see on my spreadsheet, as well as the on-screen list, AUO1-assessment measures through SLO1, reflecting on past action planning. For field type, list what you see here. For all fields that will be answers from your users, type multiple lines of text. For the field label, use the same field name or something meaningful for your users. Leave the field order blank. Enter a simple description about the field. All other fields you can leave blank for now. Next, go to make.powerapps.com. It's 100% free. Just use your Microsoft account, but if you don't have one, create one. Based on your data dictionary, let's build the back end, a Dataverse table. In the left menu, click Tables. At the top, click New Table, then Add Columns and Data. Click the Edit icon and change the name of your table. Name it AUO-SLO. Click Save. The first column has no name and will be your primary column. Click the drop-down arrow, then Edit column. This will become Last Name. Leave this as a single line of text and leave it as required. Click Update. Click the plus icon to add the next column. This is where you create all the fields from your data dictionary, so refer back to it going forward. For the academic start and end year fields, make these single line of text. If you choose whole number, they will appear as numbers with commas after the first number, such as 2,023 instead of the year 2023. If you create an incorrect column, sometimes you cannot change the field type or delete it, so this is why your data dictionary is key. In that case, create your new columns with meaningful names, then hide the columns that cannot be deleted. For fields where it is a user, such as the administrative unit lead and assessment point of contact, make the data type a lookup column. The related table will be the user table. In your personal testing environment, you may not be connected to an organization of users, so you won't be able to view the actual users to test, but you can still connect to that table. For columns that are multiple lines of text, click the More arrow on the right, then pick multiple lines of text. For URL columns, click the More arrow, then pick URL. To scroll to the right, hold down the Shift key, then roll your mouse wheel down. Now we'll start our answer fields. To save yourself some time, type in AUO, then copy it so that when you make the other AUO fields, just paste it in. The choice is yours of how to build the columns. You can create them in the order you want them displayed on the form, or you can create them all and rearrange them later. From here forward, continue building all your other fields. Remember to refer to your data dictionary to make sure you enter the same field names and types. If a field name or field type in a data dictionary does not match your table, change it in the table or the dictionary, but they need to be the same. Scroll left and right to make sure you created all of your fields, and when you're done, click Create in the bottom right. It might take a few minutes to save, but it will. If you missed anything, click the Edit button and go back in to make your changes. If all is well, click the Create icon in the top left. With the back end out of the way, it's time to create the front end, the app. We will create a Canvas app, so click Blank App, then Create beneath Blank Canvas App. Give your app a name, leave the format on tablet, then click Create. Like a painter's canvas, you now have a blank canvas app to begin making your work of art. Next, we'll add data by connecting to our table. We're in edit mode, so in the left menu, click on the data icon. Click Add Data. Our table is AUO-SLOS. Click it and the connection will appear in the left tree view. Next, we'll add some screens to the app. In the left menu, click the tree icon. We can see that the screen we are on, screen 1, is highlighted gray. Let's rename the screen. Click the three dots, then rename, or double-click on the name. This is our first screen, so let's name it Screen Landing. To add more screens, click New Screen above. Choose Blank. We'll add 5 more blank screens. Then, we'll rename each one a meaningful name to match what takes place on that screen. Next, we'll add a success screen template and rename it. Move the screens up or down based on how users will interact with them. It helps you as a developer to stay organized. All blank screens look alike, so to help you from getting lost, we'll add some text to each screen. At the top of the screen, click Insert, then choose Text Label. Like renaming your screens, rename your controls. You can rename it on the left in the tree view or on the right in the Properties pane. Click the Edit icon and give it a meaningful name. Be consistent in your naming conventions. To change the text that appears on the control, you can change it in the Properties pane or in the top left in the formula bar. If you change it in the formula bar, the words must be inside the double quotes. You can also change the label by double-clicking on the control itself. We'll see that on the summary screen. Since this is to help with development, let's change the font size. Then drag the control out of the way. Now there is a visible difference between this and the other screens. To save time, let's copy and paste this to other screens, then rename each control. Go to the next screen and paste the control. Rename the pasted control. Change the label to match the screen. Repeat the process for all screens except for the success screen. Next, we will be navigating between the screens. We'll do a little housekeeping to keep things neat and collapse our screens. On our landing screen, add a button. You can either search for it or click the icon. Let's copy and paste the second button. Next, we'll edit the properties of the first button. From the Properties dropdown, choose On Select. Notice the properties are in alphabetical order. We'll make changes just to the right in the formula bar. False means no action takes place. Delete that and enter a simple formula. We want the user to navigate to a particular screen, and we want the transition to fade. What's helpful is IntelliSense appears to suggest what you need to enter, as well as an error at the control and in the top right app checker showing that your formula is not complete. As you build your app, fix these errors as they occur, and it will save you a lot of time. To test the OnSelect action, let's preview the app. Click the first button and we'll see by the words on the screen that it navigated to the new screen. Go back to edit mode. And we can see that we are now on the new screen. Not too bad, but you don't want buttons all over your app. Here's a better way. There are many different controls that we can add to do great things. What we're looking for is a horizontal gallery. You'll find that under Layout. The gallery comes with 3 controls built into it, so we'll keep only what we need and remove the rest. The Items property is set to Custom Gallery Sample. We'll change that shortly. Here you can see there are 2 text labels and an image control. If you click on the first item in the gallery, that is the gallery's template. Changes to the template affect the appearance of all other items in the gallery. This will make sense in a moment. For Items property, let's create an array by using square brackets and placing values inside double quotes. These values will soon relate to our screens. For now, you can see the values appear in the text labels inside the gallery. Let's delete what we don't need by selecting the control, then pressing the delete key. When we delete the image, we get an error on the Title 1 text label because the X and Y positioning of that control was tied to the image control. Easy fix. Click the error itself, then choose Edit in the formula bar. The Y property can be accessed in the Properties dropdown or in the Right Properties pane. In the formula bar, change that to 0. Just as a high school refresher, X relates to across and Y relates to up and down, and those are the coordinates for control on the screen. When we adjust the width of the template, you'll see the other items in the gallery adjust. Same for the height. Here's the fun part. We'll add the navigation button we created into the gallery. Copy the first button, click any control inside the template, then paste your button. Next, we need the text of the button to be dynamic and display the values we put into the Items property. So for the text property, enter this item.value. Now we no longer need the text label Title 1. Position a button somewhat centered left to right, but close to the top of the template. The OnSelect property is set to navigate, so let's preview the app. All three buttons are the same as the button in the template, so we have to dynamically set what happens to each button in the gallery. For good housekeeping, let's rename our gallery button. We'll add an if statement to the OnSelect property of the button. Like Excel, formulas here work from the inside out, so go to the beginning of your formula and add a space. At the beginning, type if, open parenthesis, this item.value, equals, double quotes, new, close quote, comma. Then go to the end and add what happens if that first condition is not met, comma, navigate, open parenthesis, screen name, comma, screen transition type, close parenthesis, then add a second close parenthesis to complete the formula. That takes care of navigating to new and all, but not management. In edit mode, we will fix that, but first, here's a time-saving tip. Instead of clicking the play icon to preview the app, hold down the Alt key and click the control. Similar to an if statement is a switch statement. Click on the button in the gallery and let's expand the formula bar down. Move our working formula down by pressing Enter at the beginning, then turn it into a comment by adding 2 forward slashes. Type exactly what you see here. Pause if you need to. You'll also notice that you do not have to include screen transition types. Like before, let's do some good housekeeping and remove unnecessary controls. We no longer need these buttons that are outside of our gallery. Bad things happen like power outages, so save your work. Simple. Click the save icon in the top right or Control S. There is also the publishing feature which pushes the newest version to your users. We can get more into that later. For now, let's look into more navigation. You may have noticed that we did not add a way for users to navigate back to the landing screen. We already know how to add a button, but there are other controls we can use. Icons. The icon we choose does not matter right now because we can easily change it, but ultimately stick to what your users know. Give it a meaningful name. Depending on what action you want users to take should determine your choice of a button or an icon. Here, we'll add buttons to these next 3 screens. Remember, insert it once, then copy and paste. Let's take a look at automated navigation using timer controls. On the success screen, we want users to be automatically navigated to the landing screen. Let's insert a timer. Under Input, choose Timer. The default duration is 60,000 milliseconds or 60 seconds. We'll change that to 3 seconds. Change the OnTimerIn property to navigate to the landing screen. Set the time to start automatically. Then hide the timer by changing its visibility to off or false. The timer is still on the screen but not visible. We'll test the timer by previewing the app. Lastly, give the timer a meaningful name. Next up, we'll see how to add more fields to our table. Click the data icon in the left menu, then click the 3 dots to the right of our data table and choose Edit. This is useful if you forget to initially add a column, but you don't want to navigate away from your app. Also, if you want to change some features of a column, such as change the multiple lines of text from plain to rich text, this gives users formatting like bold, italics, underlining, font colors, and sizes, making it easier to emphasize important information. Make all of your changes, then click Close. This will take you back to your app to continue editing. Here's what we've learned so far. In the next lesson, we will put it all together and connect users' entries to your table through the app. If you have any questions, please contact me. Stay awesome, have a blessed day. See you in the next one, and remember, be epic.